we figured out what the optimal Bayesian inference would be under all the conditions of all the different kinds of information that might be involved. And sure enough, people exactly match the optimal performance that we would expect from a completely rational and optimal agent. I am just not there myself. I come from a perspective in which there's constraints, there's multiple factors that have different forces that shape them, and these factors converge in generating the behavior that we produce in the moment, and they have their reasons for being. They were shaped by evolution, perhaps, but there's no way they could be optimal in every single moment. The moments that occur when we're driving in cars were not planned for by evolution, for example. You know, so it just seems to me crazy to ever think that everything is always rational and perfect. You know, in fact, everything is, I would say, shaped by history and you know, governed by a combination of chance and I don't know, luck. That's perhaps a more radical version of it than I actually believe.
Well, I'll make a somewhat rational response to the question of irrationality versus rationality. And this kind of follows on what Jared was saying. You know, with long trajectories now, 50 plus years of using computers to make music, one of the things that there's this paradox that I've always come back to. We need in our art and our lives a certain amount of crusty stochastic little stuff all the time. Life is not predictable. It's not periodic. Neither is it completely off the charts random. But in music, when we're using computers and we want to, you know, spice something up and get it a little bit more human-like, and I've even seen buttons on software that say humanize. It's often by injecting a little bit of jitter from random numbers, and a random number generator in a computer is just a very complex, long spun out, unpredictable because it's so long, but very predictable algorithm. So you run this equation, you get a new number every time, but you get exactly the new number every time if you started in the same place. So it's the paradox is that it's completely predictable, but yet we use it to step in for this other thing that humans do. And if I say, hey, is your patch improvising? People will say, yeah, I got a random number generator on it. You know? But the paradox is that if it's a human improvising, it'll never have that property of being completely repeatable. It'll have much more irrational element to it, you know, and so that, again, it's another one of these gaps, modeling gaps, that is, you know, it's something we face every day, and I'm sure it's not just in music. I think this discrepancy has got to be there. It's financial, it's got to be there. Everything we do, I'm sure it's.
If I could just extend the paradox one step further, although I agree with everything you said, it's also true that sometimes the way to actually find the global optimum is to inject some noise into the system.
Oh yeah.
Get stuck in local minima, and if you shake things up a little bit, you can find the actually best solutions.
Yeah, that's a tool we use, you know, all the time. But yeah, I can play you a human vibrato versus a random vibrato, you know, just the right
I think I have other comments about that.
You'll hear it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I don't have anything.